So I watched Interview with a Vampire. Last video I said I was gonna watch this. I've honestly been putting off this movie for so long. I think like it's been probably like 6 months since somebody recommended this movie to me. Um, what is it called? I give this movie a 7 out of 10. It's not a bad movie. It's a vampire movie though. I've never gave a shit about vampires. I think the best vampire movies is probably Underworld. I'll probably watch all of those and then do movie breakdowns on those. I also need to watch the Twilight whole what is it? Series. There we go. But this movie you follow freaking Brad Pitt, who's honestly looks really good in this movie. And no pause there, honestly, a lot of the guys in this movie are good looking. And I hate that as a guy I can't say that and people just like, oh, you're gay and stuff. No, I'm not. I'm so straight that I'm aware that I'm okay with being like, yeah, that guy's an attractive dude. Still like women, because me saying that he's attractive is not gonna change that I still like women. So the point is, this movie, it's pretty much tackles the question: is being a vampire a blessing or a curse? So he's a guy. The movie starts and he's like pretty much talking to this dude. Hence why it's called Interview with a Vampire. He's pretty much getting interviewed by this fucking guy. If you guys haven't watched the movie, watch it. I'm gonna spoil it. That's what a movie breakdown is. I like making these videos because I just talk into a microphone, and then later I listen to my dumbass talk, and then later I just cut the parts out, that aren't interesting, or I didn't find that funny, or I'm just I thought it was cool in the movie, right? Whatever. But point is, he's getting interviewed by this guy, and he just pretty much tells him like his whole life story, which is like, Jesus fucking Christ, if it was me, because the dude's been alive for like 200 years, like he's telling him this whole fucking story. But so he starts it, he's like, pretty much he lost his wife and his kid, and he was upset, so he started drinking, and he didn't give a rat's ass about life anymore. And he meets this guy called or he goes, I don't know what happened, but point is, he gets bit by Tom Cruise's weird looking ass in this movie, and then turns into a vampire. Then he sees that if you're gonna be a vampire, you have to, I don't know, they have this stupid rule apparently where you can't drain the blood off of a dead person. The whole time I was just trying to like see how you could circumvent this thing. I was like, oh well, nowadays that would probably be really easy. You could just go to I don't know, like a clinic where they have all that blood and stuff. But then it's like, no, it's gotta be from a person who's alive. And it's like, so the heart has to be beating. But then I was like, he's a fucking slave owner in this movie, and I don't condone slave owning, but wouldn't you just be able to be like, this is a slave that I'm gonna keep alive, and like take out blood from them every here and there, like a like a walking cooler, water cooler or whatever. Wouldn't it just be like that? Just like, all right, I need a drink. Then you just grab this dehydrated, depleted woman or whatever, and then bite into them and drink blood, and then like, all right, go patch her up and make sure she's still alive, because she tastes like cranberry juice or whatever, and then you would have like an assortment of people that you genuinely like drinking out of. I don't know, but I'm just stupid. But yeah, that was that's one of the things. But point is, he's going through this struggle of like, oh, I'm really hungry, I need blood, but I don't want to kill people because I'm not better than people to, I'm a vampire, but I don't want to take people's lives. And pretty much, Tom Cruise is like, bro, stop being a bitch. Like, just fucking drink people's blood and, like, do this and that, You're a vampire. You're not a human, bro. And then he's like, but I don't want to kill people, bro. And then that's pretty much what this whole movie is about. And I like also, he bites this girl. Also, this is the weird part of this movie where I'm just like, why they have to put a little girl in this movie? Hollyweird, What's going on in the 90s? Who the fuck okayed this movie, right? And then Kristen Dunst, who's like Spider-Man's girlfriend from the Sam Raimi movies, right, is in this movie. And she's like a 7-year-old girl in this movie. I don't know how old she was when this movie was aired, honestly. But point is, she plays this girl who gets turned into a vampire by, honestly, whose fault is it? It's probably like Brad Pitt's fault because he bit her and then didn't kill her and kind of turned her into a vampire. But then it's also Tom Cruise's fault because he's the one who finalized the ritual. And she becomes angry, because she's like that girl, that weird looking, what was that? Pixie character from fucking The Eternals, the girl character nobody cared about because she's like looks like a child, essentially. And that's what she's going through. She's going through the exact same problem where she's just like, I look like a little kid, man. I can't fucking, nobody loves me because I look like a fucking kid, And then she's more like okay with killing people compared to Brad Pitt's character. Brad Pitt over there sucking on rats and shit. And then she's like okay with killing people, and Tom Cruise likes her. But then she comes to find out like, oh, the reason I'm like this is because it's fucking Tom Cruise's fault, So she decides to kill him. But there's this scene, right, in this movie where he's like goes and gets her a doll, and then it turns out she has like a dead lady on her bed. I don't know how I'm gonna do this scene because there's a lot of nudity. And there's not a lot of nudity. There's like 2 scenes where there's naked bitches in the movie, But honestly, the point is, she had a dead bitch in her bed, And it's like, how would you not smell that there's a dead bitch in the bed, This is like all the houses just smell like shit. Or vampire houses just smell like shit the whole time, which maybe it makes sense, And also, even then, why do you have to sleep in a box, bro? I don't get that. They like really sleeping in coffins, It's like, why can't you just sleep on a bed that's really dark? Why do you have to sleep in a box? What are you, a fucking Amazon appliance type shit, Put you in a box? I don't know. I found that weird too. I was like, I would just sleep on a bed in a really dark room. Why does, like, even, also, like, if you close the box, like, the whole thing of a casket is, like, you lose air, and then you die, but maybe it doesn't happen to them because they can't die. Like, maybe they just like being asphyxiated the whole time while they, I don't know. I'm thinking too much into this, But where was I? They pretty much killed Tom Cruise, and then they like go and they throw him in the swamp, and then it turns out that he didn't die. And this is like honestly the scariest part of the movie. I ain't gonna lie, it's scary. It gave me a little bit of a jump scare with the change of the music direction or whatever, And then pretty much these they fucking killed Tom Cruise. They set his ass on fire again. It's crazy how easy it was. Also, the thing about this movie is crazy how easy it was to set houses on fire back then. what were these fucking like just curtains made out of fucking that shit magicians use so it burns real quick? What the fuck was going on back then? You know, everything was just covered in alcohol. I don't know, but well, he does cover some of it, but not all of the house. Like it looked like insanely easy. Like they were just throwing gasoline before they fucking set the house on fire. But it's like they, uh, like what was like that shouldn't be that easy, you know. But I get it. It's for the movie, you know. Like they don't want to see fucking Brad Pitt just standing there with a I don't know what they're called, a freaking like a candle thing, and then trying to light a curtain and then waiting for it to light a little and then being like, oh, okay, on to the next piece of furniture that I need to set on fire, you know. But uh yeah, that was houses and set on fire like crazy. Then they moved around a lot, pretty much, because they were trying to figure out the origins of vampires and see if they could like, I don't know, change blood. I don't know. They don't describe it. He just says, I'm just curious. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. You know, who's the first vampire and shit. So then he goes to Spain, I think, and he meets a fucking Zorro dude. I was like, damn, what's his name? Whatever. But Puss in Boots is in this fucking movie, bro. Antonio Banderas. There we go. Crazy how his name is Banderas, right? Banderas, which means fucking like flags. That's his fucking last name is Flags, bro. That's crazy. But point, bro's last name is really like Big Flag. But point is, this dude, he looks really good in this movie. Honestly, like, if a girl told me, oh, they thought Antonio Banderas was cute, I'd be like, I can see it. I can see it. Like, this is what I'm saying. It's just a bunch of hot dudes in this movie, and there's nudity, and I feel like, you know, it plays into that thing girls like, where it's like that bad boy, but who's really good looking and stuff, you know? Because vampires, why do girls like vampires? I don't get that one either. Although Dracula was supposed to be like a love novel, where this is primarily why I watched this movie. I explained the origin to a fucking girl about this movie, or of Dracula. Pretty much, she was like some dude who fought in the Crusades, and he pretty much like he was gonna get married to this girl. He went and fought in the Crusades, came back, turns out she was dead. He wasn't even married to her. And then he's like, cursed God, you know, why would you let her die? So he goes and he pretty much destroys a religious building, and God curses him with the ability to live forever, and that he has to I don't know, drink blood or some shit. I'm honestly like not that well familiar with it. So he goes and he decides to live in a fucking Hotel Transylvania ass house, you know, and fucking he's in the fucking house, and then he lives there for like 300 years or whatever, and then some girl is like, oh, we should all fucking, there's this Airbnb where it's very creepy looking, and we should all go and chill there for the time being, right? So they go and they fucking chill at that castle Airbnb, and then he sees the girl, and he's like, oh my god, she looks like the girl I was gonna marry, or some shit like that. And then he's like, I have to like fall in love with her or whatever. He like turns her into a vampire or whatever. But I honestly don't really know. Besides, that's like pretty much what his origin story is. And honestly, it's a pretty fucking shit story. But you know, like, hey, they like it. Girls like that type of, oh, he really likes me. You know, I think it's one of those, right, where it's like they want to be the adored, but also the adorer. I don't know. But point is, where was I? Pretty much, yeah, they're in Spain, and then these vampires pretend to be vampires. Yeah, that's honestly like a good disguise. You know, like if you're a child, you should disguise yourself as the subway dude, right? Like that's pretty much what he's doing. Like honestly, when you think about it, right? This is Subway Subway Jared, bro. Honestly, when he came out that he had I looked at it, and this video is for sure demonetized. But point is, um, he, you were like, oh, really, Subway Jared? But then you remember the fat photos, and you were like, yeah, he for sure did that shit. You know, I could see it now. Yeah. This dude was like 600 pounds. Yeah, living in his, I don't know, mom's basement or whatever, downloading CP. Yeah, I could see bro doing it. Yep, makes sense. But point is, this they don't like the little girl because she's a girl. It's like a sin, or not a sin. It's like against the vampire tradition. I don't know, religion or whatever. But point is, you shouldn't have little girls who are vampires, or like vampires who look like they 7. You know, it's like, that's no bueno, right? Plus, they have another rule in the vampire society where you can't kill other vampires. So they decide to kill the young girl, right? Or Kristen Dunst's character, which honestly to me, it's like, but then why didn't you kill Brad Pitt? Because he fucking set the other guy on fire and shit. Does that not count? And then later in the movie, fucking, okay, so they kill them by, waterboarding them, essentially. That's what they did, is only instead of waterboarding them, they fucking gave them a good look at the sun, essentially. They pretty much killed them like every gamer, bro. Go outside, loser, you know? Then they died, right? So then he's just like, man, they killed her. I was in love with her, or whatever, which is like, hey, bro, that's weird. It's weird. And then there's all the, like, I could already see the comment sections of fucking people who like lollies are in there. Oh, it's not weird because she's technically like 100 years old or whatever, but shut the fuck up. She still looks like she's 7. That's fucking weird, right? So, he gets mad and he's like, I'm gonna start clapping these fools. This is gang warfare now. You know, it's vampire on vampire crime. So he kills all the other vampires except Antonio Banderas' cute ass. You know, that's the only guy he leaves alive. Plus, a few people Antonio Banderas knew, right? And he was like, pretty much like, yeah, I gotta start a new society, you know, fucking, this is just like dropping a nuke on these. I honestly didn't even really like him or whatever, right? And then he goes back to the U.S. and pretty much, honestly, this is where I started tuning out and watching TikTok, but point is, he goes back, he just lives a normal life. It turns out Tom Cruise is alive, so technically they killed that girl for no reason, you know? She was just a girl vampire, you know? So, and whatever. But point is, then he's like done with the stuff, and the interview guy is like, oh, you should bite me and turn me into a vampire. He's like, dude, did I just not tell you my whole life story about how being a vampire fucking sucks? And you're over here talking about you want to be a fucking vampire, you fucking loser. So yeah, that's pretty much what this fucking movie is about. Dude, I can't believe I watched this movie. This movie was fucking 2 hours long. Oh, and then the Tom Cruise is just in the car with, he looks goofy as fuck in this movie too, man. And then he's just like with the interview guy at the end of the movie, and that's pretty much it. This how a movie ends. It's like, oh yeah, fuck Brad Pitt. He told you his whole life story. Nobody gives a shit. You know. Oh, very sad. You're a vampire. You live forever, dude. You know, you don't want to kill people, but you still don't want to do that thing that I told you, where you drink their blood and let them live. You know, you know, like you drink their blood, but make sure they don't die, bro. That's literally all you have to do, bro. And after that, you have infinite blood supply, because humans have this really interesting ability to regenerate blood. You know, like, as long as you don't suck them dry, you can, keep them alive. And then, but I guess, like, imagine that, like, imagine you found a good flavor of Capri Sun. I guess this is already happens to a lot of us. And then that shit gets discontinued. That's pretty much how it would go, right? He's like, just really like how this dude tastes, or girl, or whatever. And then after that, they die because they're not a vampire, and they lived for 50 years of you just like sucking their blood or whatever. Because honestly, that must not be healthy, donating blood almost every day. But so then they just like die, and you're like, oh man, my favorite Capri Sun, and we're all out. Oh man, man, whatever. I'm dumb as heck.